Okay, and welcome back. And in this tutorial, we're going to start learning how to use the level editor here. Now I could go through all of these and start explaining them to you one by one, but instead we're going to jump right into it and we're going to start creating our first person shooter. So, open this up. Alright, just bear with me here. Okay, so at some point, our first person shooter could look something similar to this. Okay. So without further ado, let's begin. So click New if it's not already new. Now when you click Save, you can pick a place on your computer anywhere you'd like. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to be placing it in My Documents or in Your Documents. And you can call it anything you want. I'm going to call it 3D Game Studio Projects. And I'm going to make a folder called FPS for First Person Shooter. And we're going to call this map FPS Main. Okay, and the reason why we did that is because now when we go into map properties, we're going to create a new script and make it an empty script. It will then give it the name that we named our level with a .c extension. So that's the name of our script with this extension .c, because we're programming in light C. So now that we have that, we can see it here. Alright, that's awesome. So what I'd like to do now is show you how we're going to create our map. So we're going to open up the model editor here. Okay. We're going to place a cube, which is 16 by 16. Come into the settings here. Scale to half. So when we scale this, you can see down here we've scaled it by 2.0, which is twice the amount. So it's now a 32 by 32 size, which I think is maybe just a bit too small. Let's go 64 by 64. Okay, so there. We have one tile, which is 64 by 64. What that means is that when we use our textures will be 64 by 64 pixels to cover that one little tile area. You'll see what I mean momentarily. So now we just keep extruding it. Oops. Use your mouse wheel to zoom out. Six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 looks like it might be good. Now let's save that. And we're going to save that under our project folder, under models. And we're going to call this room 1. Plain and simple. Now, I have here, which is in the download, a player, which is just a temporary player that we will use. That comes with some animations. You'll see how we're going to put this to work in a little bit. But the reason why we're looking at this now is because we're going to copy that and open up our room and paste. Now you can see the size ratio compared to our player. So with this in mind, I think what I want to do now, first I'm going to delete the player, since we know that he's about the size of 2 cubes. We're going to extract from each side one more time. Okay. So now, looks kind of odd. But it doesn't appear to be anything wrong with it. Okay, so it's just a shading issue. It just looks a little odd to me. Alright, so now we have the size of our room. We can save that. And I'm also going to open up this from the tutorials resources. So that's this right here. I'm going to copy it and find my way to my folder and place it inside of the models folder as well. So now we have these two models, and what we're going to do is we're going to invert it, which means that now all those faces are on the inside. So we now have a room. Okay, so we'll save that once more. We're going to come back to 3DGamestudio, and we're going to add a model from our first person shooter folder. Now why isn't that showing up in there? Oh, of course. Silly me. Okay, where is my models? We're going to copy those and where's my 3DGamestudio projects? Right here. Okay, that was a little bit confusing, but now that that is solved, make sure that you're placing everything into the proper project folder, otherwise you won't be able to find them. So there's a good lesson. Now if we come back here, we'll find our two models because we placed them in the right project folder. That's why it's important to know which folder you're placing your stuff into all the time. Now what this does is it snaps our movement. If I set this to 4, it's a little bit more loose, and if I set it to 128, it's really, really tight. So I like to keep it around 16. We're going to line the bottom of it up with this green line, which is our 0 mark. This is our origin at our 0, 0 position, 0, 0, 0 position. And there. So our room is now visible in our level, and it has no texture. So in the next tutorial, we're going to texture our level, and then we will learn how to build and compile our level so that we can then prepare to view it.